I want to just specifically concentrate about the brachot. Specifically, today is such a great day of the Bshvat, and it's a very big mitzvah that we're doing already so many years. Chazal Kedushim give us a command to make this mitzvah. I don't know what it connect with the brachot. Well, you see, right now what we do is gathering, bring all the fruits, all the delicious stuff, making brachot, making tefillot right now, segulot. We're doing all during the year also brachot, no? Some doesn't do. What's the meaning of this brachot, what we're doing in this period? I want to explain to you from the Eitz HaChaim how much I could. I was just looking right now in the book that the secret of the brachot, what we do. You see, Chazal said when it was in Mount Sinai, in Har Sinai, when we received the Torah, they said the power of Hashem by His speaking, by the giving us the Torah, all the angels, each time any word He said, they said Varauta Kolod. We used to see the voice of Hashem, mamash like angels, coming to us, and the Eitz HaChaim, the Rav Gadaev said, coming and kissing us. By saying to us, please Daniel, accept me. Coming to us, kissing us, they're telling us, accept me. That by Hashem giving us the intended Asara Divrot. And every voice is going to come out, come to us and tell us, accept me. What's the secret of that? You see, basically, we also, somehow, we're doing continuation, whatever Hashem did it. We're doing basically the same thing, continuation. We have a Torah, and Torah is the channel of connection between us and Kadosh Baruch Hu. And with that channel of the Torah Kedusha, where we receive the Torah and we commanding doing the mitzvot, basically we are doing Hashem's being Hashem's partner by the creation of the world. Now, mitzvot of the bracha. If you're familiar about the Rabbi Shalom or Rabbi Asher, when they're giving the shiur lessons, there is the world that's called Atzilut, Bariya, Yitzhak, Asiyah. And we have also in this world, which is called Atzilut, Bariya, Yitzhak, Asiyah. For example, let's speak about the lower world, Asiyah. We have four creations inside the Asiyah. We have the domem, which is inanimate, domem. We have tzomeach, we have the growing. Then we have chai, which is the animals. And then we have the medaber, the talking, the human being was the highest level than the asiyah. Now they said, instead of the Eitz HaChaim, Ariach is bringing that the Hashem, when they created the world, He gives that power in that asiyah, in that sin, in our earth, yeah, the power, that energy to do it, to give it, the fruits should be grow. And basically this fruits, everything is the nitzotzot of the Kedusha, of the Ramach nitzotzot, which always Rabbi Shalom, me always think about you, how to take them out by doing brachot. And when the person, chas v'shalom, doesn't say bracha, basically he doesn't let to that nitzotz come out from that bracha, and in creating a chaos, and by that fruit or by that food, whatever we're supposed to eat the bracha, and not giving to get to fix. So what we do is by the same brachot, yeah, we are trying to raise up that nitzotz from domem to the tzomeach, from the tzomeach going to the chai, to the animals, and to us, and going up in higher level. That's by doing the brachot, when you say bracha. When we doesn't say bracha, yeah, we doesn't give a life to that fruit, or to that vegetable, or to that food, anything we eat, if we doesn't say the bracha. So that's basically today the mitzvah of the two Bshvat, what we're going to do right now. We wanna show to Hashem Barach that appreciate that appreciate whatever he created. Yeah, and he said to bracha by knowing that anyone in this world, when he's saying bracha, when he eat food, yeah, also on Allah Baba, you're also going to say brachot. Also over there has continuation of the creation of this whatever Hashem created.
Let's start the Berachot and then we're gonna continue, okay?
Okay.
How? Can we just start the reading?
Yeah.
While he's gonna read, I want to say something. How's we did a tikkun today with my brother. I was coming home from the tikkun. I went to the shower and I came out of the shower and I said to myself, Shovavim, there is no chagim, there is no holidays on Shovavim. And I said, but today is Tu Bshvat. Today, in essence, there is a holiday. And why is today actually a holiday, Tu Bshvat, on the time of Shovavim? And I was thinking, and I said, there has to be a connection. The pasuk says, Ki Adam hu etz hasadeh. The human is considered the tree of the field. You know, if we look at the Sidur, the Ben Ish Chai brings down a whole tefillah. He talks about today how we have to pray for our etrog. And we also see that today we talk about what? We talk about the Shiva Minim, which is very important. And if you look at the Chazal, the Shiva Minim were actually a big machloket. Which one was the etzadat? Some say it was the fig, some say it was the date, some say it was the etrog. And if you look at it, what are we doing in Shovavim? Shovavim is a time where we're being ma'aleh those nitzotzot. Those nitzotzot, the Adam Rishon did the sin by eating the etzadat, which today we have on our plate, on our table today. That's why we have in the time of Shovavim, to remind us that the sin that he did is actually why we have it at this time of the year. To pick up those nitzotzot, to pray for our etrog, that we should go back to what was. I was just looking at the Orach Chaim. The Orach Chaim says that the trees, there are some trees that don't have fruits, right? How is this possible? It says in the pasuk, the tree should give out fruit on the third day. How is it possible that there are trees that don't have fruits? The Orach Chaim says it has to be that after the etzadat, after the sin of the etzadat, there were some trees that lost the power of giving fruit. And that power of fruit is going to come back to those trees that don't have any fruits in the time of already the tikkun, in the time of Biat Mashiach Tzidkenu. And this is really why I feel that Tu B'Shvat is in time of Shovavim. To remind us that the sin of the Chet Adam Rishon has to be fixed even with the most simplest thing, by eating food. It's not only by fasting, it's also by eating. And by us going to do the ha'etz, the hadamah, the mizonot, whatever's over here, there's no hadamah, but whatever's over here on the table, the Rav is going to make the bracha. We're actually helping ourselves, and it's not just a minhag be'almahi. No minhag of the Talmidei Chamim is a minhag be'alma, what we had nothing better to do to make a fruity table here. No, it's a minhag, there's a source to it, and Baruch Hashem, today we're all enjoying from it, and today, hopefully, with this sechut, we're going to be able to ma'aleh as many nitzotzot as we can, not just for the world, but for ourselves.
Amen. Alright, Rabbi, say everyone take a mizonot, pass down some mizonot. First we're going to do mizonot.
I should wait, so I should wait. Yes. Wait.
I'm going to pass it.
You see, have a kavanah that Hashem should give you a lot of mizonot, a lot of parnasat tova when you eat a mizonot.
Teshizonot. My dad likes to say.
I don't think
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei minei mizonot.
ברוך השם אדוני מלך העולם בורא מיני מזונות.
יהי רצון שנזכה כולם לפרנסה טובה. שם עליו.
פרנסה כשרה.
אצל אליהו.
ברוך
אמן.
ושמיים יבטו אדוני אלוהיך לכת בדרכיו ליראה טוב, כי אדוני אלוהיך מביאך אל ארץ טובה, ארץ נחלי מים, מעיירות וחמות לצידך בהר, ארץ חיטה ושעורה, גפן תנא ורימון, ארץ השם ודבש. ארץ שלא תאכל בלחם, לא יחסר כל בה, ארץ שאבני פרשי מרד תחסות בחוש, ואכלת ושבעת, אומר חלמה יתמלך, תשעת חלמה יתמלך, ושם מראה בן זמן זמן בריך, כדי שהוא מצא משלב חוקה של מזוחה יום בתוך המשרד העבודית, דרך הדבר הרב ולצורך היביון. איזה לזה ויהיה בלבן והפגיון של החייבה, ועל לך שענה זמן, לך משיחה מריצה מבית עבדי, יהיה לך במדור נחל גדול נחש וסרף. ואחריו ציון להשאיר מים, צילך מים צורך על המיש, המחינך מן במדבר שלא ידעו לבותיך, מן לך למען צורך, תוכל להפריעתך. נדבר לאחר כותבים עושים לזה לך, זה זכאי, כי את זמן אלף זמן יורד כמו כאן כל זכאי, נעניקים בבידו ששבא לאותך גם הזה, ישב רבן גמליאל ודרש, עתידה ארץ ישראל עוד להצמיח כיכרות של לחם על עצים. The Gemara says in Masechet Shabbat in the future, the trees of Eretz Israel will bring out bread, ready bread. Gemara, Masechet Shabbat.
No more baking.
Everybody has cups, take some cups, pass out some cups over there. We're at Pri HaGefen,
You don't have the cook. Bread already is gonna come.
because they're gonna be ready.
Wow.
If I make sure I call and then go reply again, it's about Hashem.
He has cups.
It might have been the
He has
cup, just the
He
shot.
has the cups. He has the
That's what I'm
cups.
saying. That's why you can do Geffen. Why would I do Geffen? You didn't know.
But you didn't know.
טוב שעצרתם.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם בורא פרי הגפן.
Can we get that wine over here?
Who needs a cup? Clean cup.
מה צריך לחשוב על הגפן?
על הגפן תחשוב שיהיה לך אישה טובה וצדיקה.
תעשה לך גפן.
אשתך כגפן פוריה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם הבורא פרי הגפן.
I just want to add, you can put or something. Yeah? I just want to add a couple of words, yeah? And I want to say to you some important things from the Yitzchak himself. You're going to hear it, it's better from the book. I'm going to read it and translate also. Very important to know to us that I was seeing also in the Yitzchak that said over there that there is a mitzvah to us not to speak for no reason. It's a mitzvah. Don't speak for no reason. What do you mean don't speak for no reason? If you speak for no reason, in Hebrew they call it the very betelim. That's called. And it's avera. It's avera. You person will get punished. Shalom. If you speak for no reason. And why is like that? It said when you talk, when you speak, your neshama speak. You know that. Body never could speak. It's a skaska. It's not real. It's only neshama speak through the body. Understand? Neshama always talk, always speak. So when you talk, when you speak, basically part of your neshama sending out those sparks outside. You know the point I'm saying?
Energy.
Huh?
Energy.
Energy, whatever you're gonna call, it's a part of your neshama coming out. So when you speak dvarim betelim, basically you losing the part of the spark of the neshama. You getting the point I'm saying? You're losing the part. You're losing those nitzotzot. You're losing those. You see, besides to say dvarim betelim, you could say dvarim Torah. You say something good thing. You say perkei teilim. You say tefillah. You say mitzvah. But when you speak for no reason, it's a high level. By the way, you should know that it's not such a small level. It's really high level. So when you speak only whatever you're supposed to speak, basically you're saving last headache for tikkun of your neshama. You get what I'm saying to you? You're saving last headache. So what's happening when you're losing them? You have to come back or whatever tikkun's supposed to be to collect those nitzotzot, whatever you was speaking and you was going out for no reason. That's the reason we have a tikkunim. There's a tikkun dibur. Somebody doesn't speak 40 days. You know, you could do this tikkun, that tikkun, all those things to get back whatever you lost when you speak for another. Why I really start with that? The way Hashem created the world was to give a healness, to heal the world, same way we're healing the world by our mouth. We just basically continuing whatever Hashem was doing here. You see all this fruit right now? Yeah? There's nitzotzot over here. It's full of nitzotzot over here. Full of nitzotzot. But they're not alive. They nitzotzot without the life. You getting my point right now? It's a nitzotzot. It's a real nitzotzot. It's a real one. It's a elakut. It's an important thing, but not alive yet. I'm gonna make them alive and make a bracha on that. That's the reason. Those who doesn't, but now I'm gonna read you what I was over here. I know a little bit. Look. Basically, this is over here about the whatever I said at the beginning. Domem, tzomeh, chai, daber, which is an animal, growing, an animal, and the speaking. This is the human being is a speak. So basically, we have to from the domain, from the inanimate, to bring it up to the growing, to the high, to the animals, and go to the dimur. You understand? Basically, they can come back and then like a gilgul of other people who are supposed to be coming. Because we do that. By the eating, by the Torah. Look what is here. ומזה יעלה למדרגה למלאך היושב בזה. ויועדו מדרגות. כי עדיין חילתם הדבר ההוא, by your eating the food, whatever you eat, the food you eat. מבררים כוחו ועתו ומזון שבו. You are really basically are taking the spice of that food, but you was just eating it by the food, by the meal you had it. ומשהו פסולת וסיגים, אז החמה וברר בסדר יוצא מהעין בקרדה. Whatever you have to be left over, a person going to restroom. And as the Kal Seder, you separated from the food you was eating it by going to the restaurant. But again, if you don't say bracha, you basically, whatever going to the restaurant, also your food, all that whole also go together. Because you didn't take care of the spot. אבל הרשעים, אדרבה, מקלקלים הכל. But the wicked people, אדרבה, an opposite, they destroy everything. They basically didn't do any tikkun, they make worse. ומשהו חלק האדם, מורידים אותו אל חלק הדומם. Wow. So whatever was belong to the humankind, which means, look, for example, I have a meat, kosher meat. I have a kosher meat, and I say this meat after my wife or whatever make the schnitzel or whatever. You say Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam asher hakol nהיה b'dvaro. That meat will be human being. You getting my point?
The next year will. It's level.
That meat. But let's say if I didn't say bracha on that and I eat, I put him down to the domain.
You turn yourself into the meat.
That's true too. No, you know why I say that's true too? Since you didn't do that, you come to the gilgul of the animal. You have to come back to the gilgul to the animal, and somebody else have to eat it, say bracha on it, and fix you by that meat whatever is supposed to doing that thing. Same thing in the fruit. There is a neshamot also, all those fruits too. And over here he's saying more higher than that. You said, I want to ask a question. It's possible that there is an animal, and once upon a time, let's say it was, maybe he didn't know the answer, was higher level than the human being?
The snake?
Animal. Higher than human being.
Snake?
Huh?
Snake, nachash.
No, animals, not animals. A specific creation.
קרוב נראה.
Higher. Animal. It's in the Chavor too. I said when, in what situation, what time was higher than the...
היו דינוזאורים היו.
At the time of Noah. Before Noah. We're not higher than human beings. After that, I think they went down.
Even before that, you said something, but you go to went down. I will tell you what happened. Sit over here. When the Hashem created the Adam, he started to give the names of the animals. Yeah, they receive very high level of that day and they framework whatever was at that time when they give the names of the animals. But after the Chet Adam Harishon, yeah, after the sin, the human being became lower in that level of the animal when he was. Getting my point right now? Which means the sin made the human being lower from that animal when the Adam gave the name of that animal the first time.
Wow. Is that why he was not allowed to eat meat? Because his love on the Lord?
Yeah, we did. Well, the tikkun was in that time was not prepared to say the to eat after in time of Noah or was they permission to start to eat it and say bracha for the.
No, he's saying the reason Adam Rishon couldn't eat meat is because he was lower than them. Is that what you're saying?
No. The Adam Rishon was very high level. He lost.
How come he couldn't eat meat?
No, but he's
saying after the sin, he's asking how come they couldn't eat meat.
I thought he ate meat after the sin. He did the.
Ari says because he wasn't able to fix the meat. When he made the sin, he made the animals on such a low level that he couldn't able to bring them up. He didn't have the power to do that anymore, to make the berur. Once the flood came and the animals also sinned in Arayot, this, that, and then Noah was already on a higher level, his family were he came, then he was able to make the berur of the meat.
Now look over here. אבל הרשעים, מה אתם מדברים על כל מה שחלק מהאדם, מורידים אותו חלק הדומם. אתם עושים הרעים. You bring them down, you low to the level. כולי לקמן. אין, אך יש רשעים, look over here. אבל יש רשעים שלא חטא התגלגלו אחר מותם בבעלי חיים. There is some coming to the animals, not only to the fruit. שהם למטה מדרגתם. ועתה על ידי אמונותיהם עשו עליה הגלגלים מהם ממש. ויש יותר גמורים. There is worse than that even רשעים. מגלגלים בדומם. Some נשמות, if they over exaggerate by doing עבירות, they coming even to the גלגול of the stone. To the most פריצים לגלגול coming. To the stone.
לא עלינו.
How do you rectify that?
Это который лошонара
А?
говорит много, они говорят, теперь будешь молчать, камень будет.
Там уже можно не будет разговаривать больше говорить. בסוד אבן מכיר תזעק. נבל הדחתיב ויהי לאבן.
The pasuk says that the stone will yell out from the walls. The Ari explained what does it mean a stone will yell out from the wall? That's the nishamot inside the walls. They're yelling out. And that's why Yaakov wouldn't say the secrets in the house to his wife. Because he thought that Lavan could find out from the walls what he said to his daughters.
Phone tap, guys. How do we take them out?
Huh?
How do we take them out?
When you stay in the room and you learn Torah and then you do tikkunim and you make the house kadosh, you're rectifying the place.
That's the secret of Chanukah Abayit.
The temple house over here, I think, fresh metal. Taki шуму там выходили.
Где там?
Да. До сих пор не могут продаться. Рабай Табегу знает, он говорил, там говорит, какой-то дом постоянно говорит, шуму выходит, там не шамот, говорит. Между собой ругаются.
Absolutely.
Да, was real, true story.
Есть такая вещь?
Yeah.
Есть такая вещь, да.
In fresh metal, one house is like 160 something.
Are they selling it?
It's okay, it's gonna sell.
No, Tabib сказал.
For full price.
אומנם,
Secrets of the Torah.
אומנם הדבר ראשון, אומנם חטא הדבר ראשון, חזרו כל הבחורות לקלקל, בכלל נשמות בני אדם. All the things come down to the people, after the sin of הראשון. ונבשו בעל החיים, אשר שתי הבחורות האלו היו מוארים כבר. Two levels already was fixed at that level. ואז חזרו וירדו כקליפות, נתערבו עם מספיקים לקליפות הטוב ברע, קודם שהתעוררו. Then whatever he fixed, he made worse. I mean,
He messed up.
he messed up than before was.
Before he made the sin from the Eitzah, the animals were already fixed. There
Yes.
was no need for them to do anything, he's saying. After they ate the Eitzah, now we have to eat their animals. Vegetarians and vegans, they think they're Adam HaRishon. They don't have to eat, they think they're Adam HaRishon. They want to live with the nature. Can't touch the honey.
That's a vegan, that's a vegan, not vegetarian. vegans.
Vegetarians too, they don't
They,
eat meat.
vegans is religion over there.
Benefit though?
Crazy.
Like, they take balls out of them, the animals?
Они говорят, нельзя, они берут
See a lot of
animal,
balls
лечат
out of
его,
animals, or you just was
лечат
allowed to eat
животное,
them?
когда ранены на фарме, и они их лечат, помогают им, вот такое.
Maybe from the fact that we see that he made his first clothes from a fig tree, he couldn't use the animals. Maybe.
For all the generations,
Oh, eventually they did. We see Hevel was making clothes from wool. That they were using. Hevel was a shepherd at that time. Adam Harishon before the sin. After the sin already, they needed to be used. They needed to be used,
Now what's happening?
but not eaten.
А.
I was reading that Rizal used to eat grass.
Not grass, thorns. Thorn grass.
Yeah. I don't know.
To make the sin, to fix the sin on Adam Harishon.
what?
Now, our generation, yeah. Well, this is very, it's not so complicated, but it's complicated to know every single thing. Well, our generation right now, the whole fixing is the study of learning Torah. When you learn Torah, when you're in your table, there is a Torah. Each time you do Suda, when you eat, you could be relaxed. At one point, you're fixing them. They are really receiving the head level. Because of that, guys, yeah, it's very important. It's very important to know that when you eat anything, when you're hungry, when you make a Suda, make sure you eat, but also say the Brit Torah. Very important. It should not be you just eat it and finish it. Let's say you're tired or you don't have power. At least say Perek Zohar or say Mishnah or say Tumak Torah. That's the highest one. Haras HaKaduri used to say, or only when you have the time, or never ever you cannot take from him the Tumak Torah. From Atashem Alkeinu until the end of the Torah, you used to say. The Torah is the highest level for the Tikkun for the when you eat food.
Does it count
You
if you say till Tan Rabbanan? Or does it count? You only say the first part? You don't say the Rabbanan?
You have to say the 13.
You have to say the 11
That's the
spices.
same, right? That's the-
Yeah, all the things. You have to say that.
That's a
You
Tikkurah.
have to say until the end. So it's very important by sitting, by learning. Basically, you're fixing everything. If you don't learn, if you don't do study, it's not so hard. And not only that, it's very important thing, guys, to learn kavanot. To learn kavanot, to know by the kavanah, you are basically, I was learning one of the books over there. It said over there, there's many kavanot, there's thousands, millions kavanot. But how much you add, you're adding more power, more life to that mitzvah. More life, more chayut to that mitzvah in any kavanah. Because of that, when you learn, when you study, when you know anything, when you're adding, when you're doing kavanah, when you're doing any bracha, it's important. Most important things, when you say bracha, when you say Baruch Atah Hashem Shakon Dvorah, but say at least word by word, Baruch Atah Hashem, you speak to Hashem, you say to him, you are blessing him, yeah? But it's also considered kavanah. Kal v'chomer, those who doing really kavanah being how much level, highest level to do this stuff. So that's the, you want to add something?
I'll just finish up what you're saying. Bshvat Arab. First of all, Tu Bshvat, two things the Hasidic rabbis used to say. Number one, for Poket Akarot, women that can't get pregnant, they should get pregnant. Today's an auspicious day that you took out of that. So whoever wants to have a child, or you know somebody who can't get pregnant, to daven for them today, it's a big sigula in the Tu Bshvat, because as the rabbi said, Ki ha'adam etz hasadeh. A man is considered the tree of the field. We know when the spies went to Israel, they didn't come back. The Gemara says that, what does it mean, a land flowing with milk and honey? If you ever learned Masechet Megillah, it says over there that when Devorah, in last week's parasha, right? We read the song of Devorah. Devorah, when she was fighting Sisera, she was a judge. She was a very special lady. She was, when the Goyim were running after their women with their linen cloths, with their, barbarians, the Jewish people had a woman that was a judge and a prophetess. So she used to sit under the date tree, so there shouldn't be any yichud. And back then there was an evil man called Yachin Melech Chatzor, and he had a general called Sisera. The Gemara says Sisera was so strong, he could defeat all of Klal Yisrael. That's how strong he was. Sisera. He had 900 chariots of steel. Back then, chariots of steel was like a tank, like a tank today. And Am Yisrael, they didn't even know how to. They never was in Klal Yisrael such a thing as a organized army. There was never such a kind of thing as an organized army. When Klal Yisrael was ready to go to fight, who used to go to war? First thing, they used to check the guy's ID. Does he have a beard? If he has a beard, he's qualified. Second, is he shomer his brit? He's shomer his brit, he's qualified. Next thing, is he married? If he's married, he's qualified. Next thing they check, how many hours a day you learn. When they used to go to war, there was no such thing as an organized army. When they used to take people that were Yirei Shamayim. And for every person in the war, one guy would learn for him Torah in the yeshiva. So let's say they would have 1,000 guys going to the war. There was 1,000 guys learning Torah for him, learning in the yeshiva for him right now. Covered for him, right? Exactly. And if one person used to die, already it was considered for them the biggest catastrophe. So the Torah says that Devorah, she was a tzaddik, she was a nivi'ah. Rabbi said, nivi'ah. We could live our whole lives never hear HaKadosh Baruch Hu's voice, the level that she did. The Ari HaKadosh, not the Ari, the Rami Pano says she was the Gilgul of Moshe Rabbeinu's wife, Tzipora. That's a side point. So Devorah, she went to the war, and she said there was a general in that time, some say it was her husband. Some say it wasn't her husband. There was a guy called Barak ben Avinoam. Barak, in Hebrew, is thunder. Thunder. In fact, the Ben Ish Chai says one of the names of the Yesod is Barak. One of the names of the Yesod is Barak. Yeah, that's the name because thunder is like your Yesod. It spits out the thunder. So if you have the zechut.
Your wife is watching.
If not, so anyways, Barak. What was Devorah's zechut? What was her zechut that she had Devorah? She used to prepare the wicks for the Bshvat. The Kohen used to light the menorah every day. It wasn't like today, you go to Wasser means you have ready wicks. Back then, she had to take the wool. She used to prepare wicks every single day for the Bshvat. Devorah. So basically, she tells Barak, go to the Shvatim and see who's going to go with you fight with Sisera. He says to her, what, such short notice? Let's get together, let's strategize. No strategize. Hashem said you're going to win. No question. He goes, only two Shvatim answer his call, Naphtali and Zvulun. Everyone else, they didn't go. 40,000 men went. 40,000. Now the Gemara says that really Sisera, he was smart. He said, I can't defeat these guys by myself. I need to get their antithesis. I need to get their biggest antagonists, their biggest enemies. Their enemies could always fight against them. Who are they? Amalek. So Sisera took Amalekim as generals, and like this he would go to war. The Gemara says, whatever happened was, the Shir Devorah goes to war, she tells Barak, go to the war. He says, I'm not going to go myself. I need the prophet to be with me. I'm scared. They're not going to listen to me. So he said, she said to him, because you didn't trust in HaKadosh Baruch Hu and you wanted a woman to come with you, the death of Sisera will not be on your hands. It's going to be by your hands by a woman. You're not going to get the glory at the end. The glory is going to be by a woman called Yael. She didn't say Yael. That was her name. Who was Yael? Yael, now listen to this. This is connected to Bshvat. Yael was the wife of a descendant of Yitro. Yitro, this man's name was Chever Akeni. Why was he called Chever Akeni? Keni is Otiyot, says Dari Kayin. Yitro was the Gilgul of Kain. Not only was he the Gilgul of Kain, he was the Neshama of Kain. That means you have Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama. Yitro was the Neshama of Kain. That's why we see Moshe giving him so much respect, because Moshe was the Neshama of heaven. So he was his father-in-law, but really he's his brother. In a sense, so when Moshe goes out to meet Yitro, he comes out with a whole big procession. Now, Yitro didn't want to live it. He was a ger. He says in this week's parasha, Baruch Hashem, right? V'yichad Yitro, he gets happy. He says, Baruch Hashem. And that's why Tu Bshvat always falls on in Parashat Yitro when we make a lot of brachot and we say Baruch Atah Hashem. So Yitro says to Moshe, I don't want to live in Israel. Says why? Because there are two things that hold a man, two legs. What are these two things? Parnasah and property. If a man doesn't have Parnasah and property, he's missing one leg. Because Gerim are not allowed to own land in Israel. Where am I going to live over there? What am I going to do over there? I could be Jewish in Saudi Arabia. Midian is Saudi Arabia. I could be Jewish in Saudi Arabia. There's a lot of oil over there. There's a lot of parnasah out there. Why do I have to go to the Israel? Moshe said to him, your tikkun, your Cain's tikkun is in Eretz Yisrael. You have to come. Where did the descendants of Cain live? In Jericho, Yericho. Am Yisrael was not allowed to live in Yericho. That place was cherem. It was excommunicated by Joshua, Yehoshua bin Nun. So Yitro said he put his descendants over there. Chever Akeni was his descendant. He left Yericho and he went to live in the Galil. Why the Galil? The Gemara says, what does it mean, land flowing of milk and honey? The Gemara says the Kinneret, back in the day, there was a river flowing from the Kinneret, but not made out of water. Kinneret is the sea over there. It's not a sea, it's a huge lake over there, the Kinneret. So there was a river flowing from the Shevet Zvulun. By the way, Shevet Zvulun, Jewish trivia. What was their land known for? There was a certain animal that used to live over there. And they used to get very rich from this animal. What was that animal?
Unicorn.
A unicorn? You're watching too many cartoons.
Chelet.
What was the chelet made from?
Fish. Special
Not a fish, a chilazon. A chilazon. Chilazon, that's what it was called. Now this chilazon that you have today, the murex snail, it's not for sure that's the techelet. There's 30 questions on that snail. Number one question, the Gemara says that chilazon will only come up once in a blue. That means it lived under the water, and then the tidal waves used to bring it up. This murex snail, you can find it like popcorn, and the blood is not red. It's kind of light, like liquidy. When it hits the sun, then it turns blue. That's not what the Gemara says. The Gemara says it's blood. So it was blue. So there's many questions on this snail. I don't want to get into it right now. It's not a techelet.
Shrinks is fake then.
I didn't say it's fake. I just said there's a lot of questions on it. That's why we don't wear techelet, by the way.
Politically correct.
Yeah, I'm politically correct. We don't wear techelet. The Ariya Kadosh wouldn't wear techelet, by the way. Techelet we don't wear. So anyway, so the Gemara says, so this tribe of Zebulun, they were living next to the Kinneret. There was a river there that stretched 12 mil. You know what 12 mil is? Let's say 1 mil is a mile. From here to 108 Street, is that a mile?
No.
More.
Minimum.
More.
I'd say 2 miles. No, it's not more than 2 miles. It's about 2 miles. Imagine 5 times that amount.
It's a lot.
That's a lot. Just flowing with milk and honey.
That's like
And that was the length. You know how much was the width? Another 12 mil.
Wow.
That was just the milk and honey. Now, what was the milk and honey made out of? Dates. The dates would drip from the trees and mix with the sheep's the sheep's milk, the goat's milk, and it would be a land flowing of milk and honey. That was the koach and the zechut of Eretz Yisrael. And the Gemara says, what's the sign that Mashiach Tzidkenu is on his way? When you see that Eretz Yisrael is bringing back its fruits. When you see that Eretz Yisrael brings back its Kiddushah. When you see that Eretz Yisrael brings forth its children. What's its children? The Gemara says, one time Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi was walking in Shechniz, and he sees over there an ox in the field, an ox. Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi lived before Beit HaMikdash or after Beit HaMikdash? After the Beit HaMikdash, many years after the Beit HaMikdash. When he comes close to the bull, he realizes it's a cluster of grapes. Could you imagine the size of those grapes? Now you know why the spies, when they went to Israel, they didn't come back with fat goats spilling milk. They didn't come back with it. They came back with fruits. Just to carry one cluster of grapes, they needed 2 men to carry it bamut. One man had to hold one pomegranate. Imagine how big that pomegranate was. It was holding it like this. One man. One man was holding a fig. That was the Kedushan Perot. Now I'm going to tell you another Gemara and I'm going to end with this. Look at the koach of Eretz Yisrael. The Shivat HaMinim.
After you finish, I have to something very important.
The Gemara says that Rabbi Yochanan was married after the Eretz Yisrael. He was the Rosh Hashiva of Eretz Yisrael. He lived in Tiberia. He had a student called Rabba Bar Chana. Rabba Bar Chana. Rabba Bar Chana says a story in the Gemara. I remember, he said, how my Rebbe used to take me to the Kinneret. Over there by the Kinneret, there was an orchard of fruits. And those were called Perot Genosar. Perot Genosar. Sweet fruits. Because I remember my Rebbe, when we were 10 students, each one of us used to hold 100 fruits. When we were 100 students, each one of us used to hold 10 fruits. And I remember my Rebbe used to finish all the fruits and he said, I'm still not full. Rabbi Yochanan was a big man. They used to eat so much fruits of this Perot of the Kinneret. One of his students, Rabbi Abahu, from so much the fruits he used to eat, his face used to secrete oil. Oil. even a fly would come to his forehead, used to slip off. That's how much of these fruits he used to eat. Another rabbi called Rish Lakish, everybody knows Rish Lakish, everybody wants to be Rish Lakish. If you knew how he passed away, you wouldn't want to be like him. Rish Lakish, when he used to eat a perot ginasar, he used to get high. He used to get so crazy, he used to take off all of his clothes and start to dance. They needed to send policemen to catch him and bring him back home. That was the fruits of Eretz Yisrael. That was Mishtabeach. Am Yisrael was Mishtabeach in those fruits of perot ginasar. That land flowing of milk and honey. That land of the wine. They used to drink, the Gemara says, they used to drink 1 cup of wine. They used to get drunk from the Kedusha of Eretz Yisrael. Why? Back in their time, everything was already mitukan, it was fixed. When something is fixed, you could feel its true power. Now in our days, it has a lot of masks. We need to take off those masks. The Ariya Kador says the way to get Ruach HaKodesh is to be Zahir in Berkat HaNehenim. He says it, Bshvat actually, it's right where he's reading. Whoever is Zahir in Berkat HaNehenim is Zocher Ruach HaKodesh. That's what he reads.
I'm reading over here, I will finish with this, I'm reading over here, that he said, at one point, the fruits, and you have to understand, it might make you a little bit confused, but just for the understanding a little bit, he said, it's over here that this fruit called tzomeach, all this called
it's a growing vegetation,
tzomeach. At one point he's saying if this is things, it's harder to fix than the meat. At one point. Not for all, but one point. Basically, when we eat food, this comes from is growing inside the domain. In an animal, from the earth come out. It's called domain, which give energy to this fruit. I have to raise this up from domain to the high.
3 levels, kind of.
Yeah, two levels. If I don't do that, it's bad. It's not good. I'm going to read you what was over here, then I'm going to explain to you. You see, 90%, I'm not going to say 100%, but if you ask me 2,000 years ago, I'm going to say 50%. But today, it's for sure 90%. I will say even quietly 99%. Even quietly, what? That most of the fruits and most of the food, there is a salt inside. Like that, what's like what? Another example tell you. You might laugh, but it's nothing good. I can't say that. It could be also some neshama in this too. It looks like weird, but it is. Why? When I have water, when I have water, yeah, there is a light and that water, and I have to also fix the vessel of that water. The vessel of that water is the cup. And he said, one of the rabbis told me, he said, why Hashem gives this idea? Suddenly we have this kind of cups come out.
Disposable.
Huh? Listen, why is saying Hashem gives this kind of idea? The machines today bring you this kind of cups, and that not one, thousands you put cups. And what do we do? You finish, boom, you throw, huh? Right there, you don't play around. Now what's happening? After I finish the bracha and that water in this cup also get it fixed. When it get fixed, there's no use on it. So you throw it there. So why like that? He said the Geulah is getting close, and it is getting close. He just doesn't feel it, but it is getting close. So Hashem saying, giving this idea to make these things faster, to fix fast what is supposed to be fixed already. There's so many souls not fixed yet. So if we're gonna wait until all of them gonna do it, who knows how long we need? So it's one example. So over here that basically in the fruits, food, 99% you have neshamot. When you don't fix them, and chas v'shalom, they upset from you. They make you a problem. Basically they make you a problem. They make you many not good stuff. So we say over here, could possible there is a neshamot in the fruit. Why they in the fruit? Because the avero they did it. Because the avero, the sin they did it. They ran in the food, to fix the aver what they did. Well, even in the water, he said. Even the water, אם יזדנו שם איזה מגולגלים, או אב איזה שום נפש מגולגלת, אז בלתי סוגים קליפות השם במחל ההוא, שהיא בכלל א', it's called one level. And those נצוצות, נשמות, be considered one level. אם יהיה האדם, הזה האוכלים, צדיק תלמיד חכם, if the person who drink the water, or eat the fruit, is a תלמיד חכם, ודאי שלא די שלא יתערבו בו בנפשו, אלא אדרבה יתקנם, וראה אוכלו בתוך הפסולת, ובין המשהו בגלגלים, האם כמו שנאמר. Not only they're not gonna hurt them, and not gonna go inside of him, to hide themselves. То вот сам нешамот, когда они видят, что их не справили, они не хотят выйти от себя, они заходят внутрь у тебя, они там прячутся. You could see in the book of the Yudaptaya speak of this freely. They see there's no point to them to live. They see it's good for them. It's the best place to hide and see. So since that neshama had the attitude, so he's splitting his attitude on your body. So then you have a crazy stuff sometime in your mind. So where's it coming from? It's from that thing. So he's saying, so if the Mechaber make a fix, not only he fixed that food, the kedusha that had in that food, he also fixed the neshama, and the neshama leaves them. He's not on him. He leaves. He goes. He say thank you very much and leave. Avalim adam rasha, but if the person is wicked, he doesn't say bracha when he eat. Or amaaretz. Look at it. He's saying amaaretz and rasha, they're almost together. Chas v'shalom. Amaaretz and rasha, God forbid, they're almost together. It's going to tell me tashir. לא יודע שלא מתקן אותם, not only you don't fix them, אדרבה, אפשר שאדם מעשה פוגע ומקלקל את הנפשות, הגבולים ששם. You make them worse by not saying bracha if you're not really connecting that, even in the water.
You have to have in mind when you make your
בוא נדע מחלאו.
You have to make your kavanah that you take away the neshama out, that you take away.
It's good to think about that. If let's say you have something saying in your mind, I want to fix also if there's an neshama, it's good to do that. I mean, it's a simple way, but there is a more connection with that. I want to come to the things you're gonna like it, but it's over there. It's very important. Look over it. You read that? Not only that, they might make you to go to Avera, Chas v'shalom. Those food, when you eat it, the food you eat it. If you didn't fix, they might make you, to force you to make Avera. And you will...
Wait, if you don't say a blessing?
They might force you to make Chas v'shalom Avera. וזה סוד. העניין, שכמה בני אדם, שפעמים פתאום תבוא להם מאורע רע וכאשר מררים את דתם חס שלום. ושאלו בני אדם ההיא, כל יוחנן. Now you could know the answer by the רבי יוחנן, הכהן הגדול, he was in בית המקדש for 90 years, yeah, and he became tzedukי.
Fell over there, כהן גדול.
כהן גדול, everybody asking, how come 90 лет он был на бет המקדש, работал как большой цадик, живой выходил, 90 лет, он как-то делал, что делал. I did it, and then became Arab Roma, tzedukי. Why?
Бараханом эгу.
А?
Фурт ба бараханом эгу.
Не, ведь что, это написано, что сказал. די עוד את אורנן דאו גם גדול שעשה צדוקי, זה בזה, הכל לפי כמנת נפש, המגל ההוא. Он не исправил одно из тех, которое тикун было, но у него было еще там другое, там специфика он должен был сделать. Он этого не сделал, поленился, и что это тот нешама, который там находился, он такой был плохой, что он вытекло его, у него была сила, даже как Йоханан Гадола, выйти, сбить его с дороги.
Сломать его.
Да, Анамхе, это такой плохой нешама был. Он ждал его, только он мог его исправить. Хас в'shalom, it's very bad.
А что он там бет המקדש делал? זה נשמה הוא נכנס.
שד, подождите. שד, נדע אמרת, אינו מתקן שום מדרגה כלל אפילו מתגלה עובר חי חיים. וזה עם הארץ ומאכל הבשר בעל ההוא. אינו יכול לתקנו. כמובן שלא יתקן המגולגל או צומח כמפורש. Значит, ты не можешь его поднять, you cannot raise him up. Basically, when you eat food, you have to raise him up. You have to raise it in 2 levels. From Tzomea to bring to the high. Because Domem already in your hands, you raise him up. Then you say Bracha, to the high you have to go to this.
The animals.
Yeah. I'm gonna jump over here. Yeah, I want to just say one thing. Now they're saying we're done. One of the reasons, no, if today Baruch Hashem are Muslim and religious in the Torah, yeah, the reason those Amaris, those who don't know Torah so well, for them not so much permitted to eat meat middle of the week. Чувак, потому что after the bracha, you have to say the very Torah to fix them. Why? Look over here. Omnam Talmid Chacham, those who knows Torah, listen over here. יש בהם כוח לתקן לעלות מדרגה א' העליונה והיא מן בעל חי לאדם. They have a power even to raise up that food and that meat to the level of Adam, to the מדבר. That's the power תלמיד חכם have. בזכות תורתם, by learning Torah. ואת התלמידי החכמים היהודים בחוות הזוהר, those who know זוהר הקדוש, מיכאל, those who know זוהר הקדוש, who at least reading. If he doesn't answer so much, at least you read the Zohar in the Sugda when you eat food. Yeah? יש בהם כוח לעלות 2 מדרגות. You could raise them up in a 2 minutes right away. והוא הצומח לאדם. זאת אומרת, from the צומח, from the growing. Not to the level of high, right away to the Adam, to the מדבר. Ты поднимаешь сразу на 2 левела.
Express.
Yeah. כמפורש. בעל חי לאדם. ותלמידיך המופלאים בחובת האמת. But those who knows Kabbalah, most connections, בשורשה, they really know in the source of the connection, יכולים לעלות אפילו מדומם לאדם. Even from inanimate, from the דומם, you could raise up right away to the level of Adam. Now you can see what are important to learn the secret of the Torah. How high level we could bring this. That's the reason said of the Chamim. Those who learn this that way, our play with the that we give shurim. That's the bring the Geulah. Now, huh?
אם ודונה סבבה כדי פש מחל דה
Chinatown has some sweet.
There's more stuff over here, but
چاینی زنی شماش باشه اگه دونی ما چاینه تان کتیم خال باینه چاینه هم میبادریم